meteen direct op live kan gaan klikken. Hoor je mij trouwens als ik zo aan het praten ben?
Ga jij straks ook checken of... ik ga ze in Engels spreken, is helemaal geen probleem. Maar het is ook raar om Engels te praten als iedereen Nederlands is.
Oh.
Ben je er nog?
Ja, ik ben er nog. Ik ben heel even... Oh, hij heeft de gegevens direct overgenomen. Wacht even, een momentje.
Engels is prima, maar als nou alle toehoorders Nederlands zijn, is dat ook zo stom. Check je dat,
Ja.
of is het zeker?
Bijna altijd hebben we toch wel buitenlandse mensen erbij zitten.
Maar het is en omdat het Engels te praten als iedereen Nederlands. Hè?
We zijn nu ondertussen ook live. Even ter info. Dus we zijn al aan het livestreamen. Dus je bent al on YouTube. Even ter info. Ondertussen, dus voor iedereen die al is, welkom. En je kunt inloggen via de Zoom-sessie. Ik zet hem vast even in de chat ernaast. Momentje hoor. Zo. We zijn in ieder geval vast live. We wachten gewoon even rustig af totdat er mensen aansluiten. Er zijn al wat mensen die nu aan gaan sluiten. Dus dat. Om nog even op je vraag terug te komen. Ik zou het bij voorkeur toch gewoon in het Engels doen. Ook al zijn er alleen maar Nederlandse mensen. Ook omdat het vaak terug wordt gekeken.
Ja, natuurlijk. Dat is waar. Nee, je hebt helemaal gelijk. Helemaal goed.
Welkom.
Hallo. Hallo.
Sorry, om even te laten weten, we zijn al live, ook op YouTube. Ik weet niet via waar je binnen bent gekomen. Mocht je daar inderdaad niet deel aan mogen nemen, dan kun je je geluid gewoon muten. En,
ik hou me als toeschouwer op de zijkant. Bedankt.
Helemaal goed. Helemaal goed. Sorry, I'm gonna switch to English now, just for everyone that's following us. I'm just putting down some information in the YouTube chat so people that are joining us there can also find us. And we're just gonna wait for a little bit because we have a couple of minutes left before we actually have to start with the presentation.
Margot, will you be introducing me?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So for the people that are watching us on YouTube right now, we're just going to start in a second with the presentation by Ine Gevers. We're doing this on Zoom, so if you want to join us directly, please go to the Zoom session. I put it in the chat as well, so you can join us there directly. You're also very welcome to keep watching via YouTube, of course. But yeah. I think there was a couple of minutes where we're just like, where people are streaming via YouTube. The stream already started in YouTube, so we're just like talking a little bit, so it might be a bit messy. So I'll probably have to edit it afterwards anyway. We should have like a little waiting music. Oh, I'm just gonna admit some people here. Welcome everyone, welcome. Like I mentioned, I'm not sure if it came in via YouTube, the people that just joined us in the Zoom session. If you don't want to be included in the live stream, please feel free to keep your camera off and your sound off. You can also So we're first going to start with the presentation by Ine soon, and then we will do a Q&A. So afterwards, you can also ask your questions in the chat if you prefer. Great. Okay, we will start in 1 minute.
Good. Would you tell me, Margot, if I'm 5 minutes before the end?
Yes, your presentation is about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
I also read something on LinkedIn today about the European Union, that they had a new decision made around facial recognition software in AI.
Yeah.
So I just mentioned this, maybe you know already, and
Yeah.
could be used in your presentation if you want.
Yeah, well, I can make a joke about it. No, but it's it's I'm aware of that. Really, really interesting.
Maybe we can discuss it after the presentation.
Sure.
For now, I want to welcome everyone that's watching, because we're going to start with the Innovation Cafe. It's a little bit of a different setup as we usually have, but we're just trying it out, so bear with us. So welcome at the Innovation Cafe for the people that haven't been here before. My name is Margot. I run the Innovation Cafe from Kazerne, which is an organization in Eindhoven. And the Innovation Cafe is a networking event for the tech design and knowledge community in Eindhoven and the surroundings as well. And basically we share what the Netherlands has to offer on these in these topics. We always have a substantial note, and today this is being provided by Ine Gevers. She's going to tell us a little bit about the exhibition Fake Me Hard, a very interesting topic on AI and robotics, right, Ine?
Yes.
And I would like to invite you to start your presentation.
Thank you, Margot, and thank you, Kazerne, for having me. And hi, everybody. I don't see you yet, but later in the discussion. Just to introduce myself, short. I'm, I think, in Eindhoven known for the Robot Love exhibition, and Fake Me Hard is an upcoming exhibition for Rotterdam. If COVID measurements allow, it will open on July 1st and run until August 15. And we do that together, or at least we are partners of Art Rotterdam, that starts on June 30 until July 2nd, no, July 4th, and then we will continue afterwards. So yeah, and that's actually a bit of the same way in which we did that with Robot Love. Some people might know that Robot Love was one of the major shows that were part of the Dutch Design Week 2018, and actually we were already there also in the Dutch Design Week 2017 with Robot Love. So in the Dutch Design Week, Robot Love was the visitors magnet, so we're really proud of that, and perhaps also because of the title. If you look at Fake Me Hard, I will introduce that now a bit more. It has as a subtitle, Your Guide to the Post-Truth Society, which of course clarifies a bit more about the title. We will come back on the title. If you look at the Niet Normaal Foundation, it's www.nietnormaal.nl. You see that there have been several large-scale exhibitions that actually, how you say that, kind of, really already precede the Fake Me Hard. One of them is called Hacking Habitat, that was in 2016 in the prison in Utrecht. So always technology plays a really important role in our exhibitions. although some people might be mistaken when they come, it is not about technology per se. It is much more technology as our first nature, technology as a becoming more and more important environment in which we live, and which influences us and which actually shapes us. Fake Me Heart, the Niet Normaal Foundation curates together with another organization. It's called Planet Art. So everybody knows the Niet Normaal Foundation from Robot Love, and Planet Art is an organization that does always, like every year in Rotterdam, the Tech Art exhibition. So those two collaborate to make this wonderful show happening, Fake Me Heart. So you saw here a few keywords. Yeah, to say a bit more about Fake Me Heart. The post-truth society is, of course, that's leading. We are in a situation that lying has never been that easy as currently. The interesting thing, though, is that lying is not something that only happens now, but what we do see is that we live in a times that our data are, of course, collected broadly, and algorithms seem to really feed on our strongest emotions, and are able to augment whatever emotions are shared. And this is one of the reasons why these conspiracy theories and other mythical ideas kind of flow over the world in a much faster rate than it normally has been done. It's really interesting to think about the fact that actually with every technological disruption, whether you think about the book printing in the 16th century, or was earlier 15th century, also then that went together with a big disruption in society, and also with lots of what you could call mythical thinking, conspiracy theories, and especially that in that time it was focused against women. So the whole witch hunt, which many people know about, was really connected with the first books that came out. This is really interesting for you to get a bit of a context of what Fake Me Heart is about. Now, Fake Me Heart is not only about how would you say that, deep fakes, so the possibility to create fake films, or kind of to create a podium where we invite, where people are invited that actually say things that they have never said because they are completely faked. It's also the time of fake news, of course, and yeah, it's in that sense it's quite a dangerous time, because it's all these elements that are really growing at large in the digital world kind of find their how you could say that, they kind of land in a real world. So the physical and the virtual world kind of collide and come together, which means that we that also very violent disturbances in real life kind of happen to us more and more. And we think about the Trump elections, of course, and the riots on the Capitol. That's of course a very big example, but there are much more examples how this plays out. So yeah, algorithms and data and artificial intelligence coming up really play a very big role in what you could call the power dynamics of the 21st century. So what you see here is actually we have on the website, the Fake Me Heart website, we have the Fake Me Heart virtual teaser. So actually you can already enter into the spaces, in the virtual spaces of the physical space that we will be entering from July on. And on the right, you see Esther Olofsson, and Esther Olofsson is the first digital influencer, completely digitalized influencer that Rotterdam has. She is conceived by Rauw, Foundation Rauw in Rotterdam, and yeah, so it's an example of so many virtual influencers also that are, you know, becoming part of our lives. So just a few other slides of this virtual teaser, which everybody can kind of visit him or herself. One of the works that are in this virtual teaser is from Pina Yoldas, actually only one that actually we also showed at Robot Love. It's such a really great film that is really interesting for us to do this again. And I'll come back to this because we have, of course, a narrative, and I'll talk about that later. And there's another one that I wanted to talk about because every visitor of Fake Me Hard, as soon as you buy the ticket, or even before you buy the ticket, you actually get from Marnix to Nice a very, very special tool. The work is called Fake Me Deep, to keep it in the in the title. And what the tool is actually is that it gives the opportunity for all the visitors to create a fake profile. And of course, then it's not only about the fake profile in the sense of that you know, you have another portrait. For instance, our whole team has been profiled, of course, fake profiled now, you can imagine. So I am a really, really nice guy, and my colleague, you know, kind of, you know, went for 40 years younger, you know, coming from a different place of the world. So you can do what you want, but it's not only the visual faking that is of our interest. It's actually this fake profile actually allows you to change your history, but also kind of create more space for future behavior or future things to happen. And this is really, really important in our opinion, as a way we are now profiled by data, by our data, and then algorithms kind of it kind of narrows down our profile, and actually also the possibilities that we have to live our lives fully. And that is, of course, a real danger that we see coming. Well, to be a bit more concrete, these are the different venues that that allow Fake Me Hard to come to life. And then now I show you the different chapters. This is actually a way for all the visitors to be able to navigate through the different spaces. So we have kind of chapters that allow the visitor to kind of, you know, especially visitors that are not so used to technology, to kind of, you know, get an introduction. So we start with meet the algorithms, of course, you know, because algorithms, that's the whole thing. You know, you never see them, you never meet them, they are invisible. Well, we're going to change that, of course. So within this first chapter, we will see lots of different works actually showing how algorithms work, and in that sense make them visible. I started with this with Rob Voerman, and that's actually because this this wonderful artist has been given an assignment to make a whole environment, like a whole environment where also other works are part. Well, a very important work for us to show, you know, how those things works is, for instance, this one. It's a large film. It's beamed and it's from Viviane Comati. It's called Valentine in Think City, and actually she shows the the environment, in the environment in Amazon. So we all know, or at least most of the people know, that the way in which different packages and all kinds of stuff that before it gets transported is ordered in a way we cannot imagine, like ordered in a way that is not logical for the human mind. What is really interesting to know that it's actually quite dangerous for people to be in this environment. So Amazon has created what you could call a human cage. So if you are in this environment as a human being, it's better to be in such a cage because because all the algorithms doing their jobs, just neglect the presence of any human being. Another work is from Eli Yetova and her co-artists. It's called Current, and it actually shows in a very interesting way how the digital and physical world completely come together, and also how our digital twins. So here you see John Travolta, I think 40 years younger than he is now. So yeah, that our digital twins become more and more important, and of course also really influence the way we live our lives. Well, the next chapter is called Neon Gods, and that's actually showing in Neon Gods we are showing how much algorithms and especially artificial intelligence, of course, kind of completely seduce us, as well as that they might threaten us, whether it's robots. Of course, we still have robots making music and kind of, completely mesmerizing the public. And these wonderful physical works that work on algorithms and make sound and light, until this one, which is a game made by Peaches and Pussy Crew, and that actually is a very interesting game to go through, that actually also tells about the downsides of all these seductions, for instance, in the social media. So the fact that we all kind of, get this extra tension that we want to meet up to expectations, that actually nobody can meet. So Neon Gods is really showing the very, very seductive and beautiful aspect, as well as the less benevolent aspects of artificial intelligence. And then we will slowly move to a more political segment of the exhibition. And of course, that segment is called Fake Me Hard, as is the title. And we will show different works, but the one major large work is by Joey Holder, and Joey Holder has made a work called Ad Credo, the Deep Belief Network, where she has more than 10 characters, persona, who tell their completely mythical conspiracy theories. Of course, we all recognize Donald Trump here, but there's also Putin, and there are also others, like either existing figures as well as mythical figures, telling their stories that are, of course, also believed and shared by many, many people who absolutely are not stupid, but it's just a very, very interesting logics that is happening. And actually a logics, and you have been hearing that perhaps also, whether it's Arne Lubach or so many other, as soon as you tune into that, so even if you're just curious, it becomes really difficult to get out of such a bubble, because it's kind of you get bombarded by the same kind of information. Is really, really difficult. So you really have to take care to kind of move around and navigate on the internet. And actually, that's actually also something that at the Hacking Habitat we really pushed forward. You know, that when we normally travel in the physical world, we have a bit of an idea where we go and what are the rules in that country. You know, what is allowed, what is not allowed. You know, what is seen as criminal or not. But in fact, as soon as we navigate digitally, we have no clue. We also have no clue who's watching us. You know, where we find ourselves and what actually are the rules and how we are measured. And that is a big problem. And in that sense, you know, we should all learn. After Fake Me Hard, the chapter Fake Me Hard, we continue by showing how humans in this new world, you know, really lived and shaped by algorithms and artificial intelligence, kind of, you know, find their way or even can survive. And also here you have really beautiful examples, like for instance, this work is the 3D dimensional work where actually a more beautiful nature comes to life than the nature that we can visit physically. So also here you see these beautiful surroundings and also, of course, seducing us. At the same time as that we understand that we need to find another way of dealing with this surroundings. And it's also what is important, and that's also why we have that in this chapter under his AI, because one of the really important issues we bring under the attention is the fact that based on our data and, you know, while profiling us, algorithms are not as neutral as many people still think. They are made by people who also are not always aware of their how do you say that, the stereotypes and their vooroordelen, the assumptions about other people, and that might really be a problem. So actually, what you see, this is what I think. So we in the real world, we are kind of, you know, heading back to what you could call an identity politics. So you have, whether it's the Black Lives Matter, or whether it's the Me Too movement, or whether it's the urge to come out as transgender or as queer or etc., which is of course very, very important. But we do think that it might also be one of the reasons why we find it so necessary to do that might also be because in the digital world we are stereotyped again. You know, we are pushed into different closets and under different labels in a very, very less in a way that is much less fluent as how we as human beings have kind of ordered and given shape to our world. And this is a big problem, of course. So in this, under his AI, we also show the diversity of all the people that, in our opinion, really should talk back. So this notion of human feedback is really important for us, and in Fake Me Hard. And with that, we mean that we think it's important that we not only invest in us human beings becoming robot proof, to again also refer to robot love, but on the other hand, that we really need together collectively find ways of giving feedback to algorithms and artificial intelligence so that they can become more human aware. Now, these elements, that's why we're showing this on this eyes, but and also this one, for instance, it's really about about how we change and become, actually our sexes become less divided into male and female, for instance, because of the plastics in our environment, which is a really interesting theory. But anyhow, so we will end the whole Fake Me Heart exhibition with what we then call, of course, like, or not call, but actually introduce the team human that is still there, and that is still very, very important. And we have a big role to play together to actually talk back and show who we are, and that we are many and pluriform, and not just simply to be stereotyped in man and woman and black and white, etc. And so we have a few examples here also of the very peculiar human behavior. That's of course also that's something that algorithms and AI of course cannot really handle so well. So the fact that the way we share stories and mythical stories, but also how we give meaning to things because of the context, also, that really makes a difference. And that's that's of course done in a different way by algorithms. And actually one of the, I think, yeah, this is the last, let me see, yeah, one of the main issues, and now I come back to the title, Fake Me Heart. Why do we call it like that? Is because we absolutely believe that many people in fact are aware of what is happening to us, how we are in a way fucked by algorithms and AI. And by saying that out loud together, we actually, that's the start of really, like, in a very ironical way, of course, like talking back and saying, listen, we are aware, and we will find ways of developing 21st century skills to be able to make a difference, and to be able to show what being human actually really is. And of course, that is what I always find so interesting and why I make these exhibitions, because this technology as an environment, of course, challenges us as a mirror to constantly reevaluate what that is, being human. Well, that is that's why we see here the last, of course, many of these slides are like stills from films and from games and from installations. You will get that, there's only flat slides here. And this one is from a film by Lime Young called Planet City, which shows, how these technologies, of course, also bring us far, and how we perhaps in a speculative future might be living together in this way, all together, in order to give a bit more space and a breathing space to the planet as a whole. And of course, many more works that we show, but I would like to end now with a teaser film from one of the big installations that will be part of Fake Me Heart. It's called Cluster. It's actually an Enter the Matrix work, for which we actually also do a crowdfunding at this moment. So please revisit this, and I'll show you now how it looks like.
Ine, wij zien nu niks. Nee, je moet heel eventjes ik denk eventjes je PowerPoint stoppen en eventjes het scherm delen van je video zelf.
Oh, dat is een hele goeie. Dan ga ik dat even opnieuw doen.
Sorry guys. quick
stop sharing, and then like this.
Yeah, and try sharing again your screen.
Oh no, this is still, no, perhaps you can then, no, I get it now. Perhaps it's still not, otherwise you should do it. Can you see it now or not?
No, we can't see it.
Can you share it?
Yes, but I have to have the link for it. 1 sec.
That's something stupid that I now don't know how to do that.
Sorry, guys. Quick hiccup. I'll have to see, where is it? Where's the link? I don't have that slide in my the presentation that you sent me. Can you please send it in the chat, the link to the video?
I sent it to you in the chat, that link. Remember? How do I get back to the screen? Wait. I see now my yes. What did you say that I should do now?
Can you put the link of the actual video in the chat
Yeah, I will absolutely. I can do that.
I can open it and share it.
Yeah, you can share it, and I can then, and then you can share it with everybody.
Hopefully. I have to double check.
Okay, let me see the chat. Yes, this is going to work. Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can do this. 1 second.
This no human finds this problematic. You know, it makes us human as well. Don't.
All right, guys, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sound. Yeah. Sound.
Hi, my name is Kees de Groot. I'm creative director, contemporary artist. I'm organizing a great show together with Ine Gevers, co-director of Feign, your guide to the post-truth society. Right here, we are in the Rotterdam Harbor area with the huge spaces. And this is the area where we are going to realize Feign. Cluster by Spanish collective Playhouse is an immersive installation. It's a huge architectural, audio, live, algorithmic, reality fuck. It's a big one. Experience you do not want to miss. Cluster, help us get it here in Rotterdam.
So really good for you to revisit this because the sound was too slow. I'm so sorry about that. So just visit it again because the sound is really, really, really nice. Yes. Thank you.
Please, was that the end of your presentation as well, or did you want to go back into your
that was the end of the presentation. My comment was that your internet was a bit slower, so the sound was not really coming through. So you need to revisit it again. But the link is now there on the chat, so everybody can revisit. Yes.
I will afterwards when we've gone when we finish the edition, I will re-edit it and upload it again, so the video in the end will show it perfectly. It's probably better. Okay, well, thank you for the presentation. I'm gonna turn on my camera now. Also, for everyone that's watching via YouTube, feel free to join us now in the Zoom session. The link is in the chat. So you can join us there if you want to ask questions to Ine. And I also want to ask everyone that's with us here in the Zoom session to turn your camera back on. Here, hello. If you want to, and if you or if you have questions that you want to ask and you don't want to turn on your camera, feel free to put them in the chat. So if there's already some questions, feel free to raise your hand, ask us already, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to start. I'm just going to give it a second to see if there's someone there that wants to start. No. I don't think so. Okay, well, then I'm going to start. I was wondering, because you're mentioning a lot of social issues and things that are obviously, like what you're mentioning is that AI and these types of things are not really, they're not, how do you say it? Unbiased? Like, they're prejudiced, yes. Right? And it's because humans creating these things. And it's mostly like a negative thing that you're mentioning, but could you also mention maybe like, is there positive sides on how AI, for example, could help on trying to get over these stigmas and over the prejudices?
Well, there are many positive sides, of course, and the whole exhibition actually shows that also, is also a very positive, exhibition showing and seducing and etc. Yeah, I mean, AI is helping us in making a better diagnosis, in terms of sickness. It's helping us understanding what we are doing with the planet. So yeah, this technology, we see it as a given and as a positive surrounding, but it has its ethical downsides as well. And actually, so Fake Me Heart is really a way of pulling people into it and becoming more tech savvy and more close to technology than pushing them further away. That's why I also said, okay, we human beings need to become robot proof, but we also need to make algorithms and AI more human aware. We don't want to be completely ignored in the end. Because actually this is I think a very interesting one. It's not just the fake news and the deepfakes and all these things that now are surrounding us, and for many people really difficult to make the difference. And of course, in a very in a few years, for nobody it will become easy to make that difference. But what is underneath there is that algorithms and AI also, I mean, it's a different logic. It's a different logic than the way we human beings share stories and share narratives, etc. And that is, of course, what you don't want. You don't want another logic completely undermining the way we in context, share meaning and give meaning to the world, also in context and in a very fluent way. Well, that is, of course, really, something to consider. And we think there are ways of dealing with that, which is becoming more close to and actually in being involved also in multidisciplinary teams, etc. And of course, this is happening in different places, whether it's TU Delft or so many other places, but that needs to be done on a much more, much more than it is being done now.
You mean like looking into the ethics of the whole thing?
No, but also the collaboration. So the collaboration, for instance, so you still have many places where algorithms and AI are developed by people who are very good at that, in terms of good at math. Yeah? But these need to be really multidisciplinary teams, because there are so many other aspects to it. And with multidisciplinary, I also mean very pluriform and diverse teams as well. Because it's not a surprise, because yes, we human beings are biased, and yes, it becomes augmented in this digital world, and those things we need to consider, to make a better future for us and our children.
Exactly. And also, I mean, it's better if you have the more people together, I guess, the less biased it can become, because it doesn't just take the opinion of or the ideas of one person, but instead of like a community as a whole.
So yeah, what is really, really interesting is that you could even see how the COVID-19 and conspiracy theories kind of, give each other a hand in that sense. Eh? So, so we are played apart by algorithms and we are played apart by Corona. This is not what we want. This is absolutely a way of surviving as human beings, but we want more and we can do more. We also can become an intelligent collective together, not just algorithms, we too, you know, so it's that kind of feedback that is really important. So no, it's not, of course, with the team human, you play a bit with that. We didn't, I forgot his name now. It's a quote by, I forgot the theorist now, but anyhow, no, it's also a very positive way of sharing this among human beings and sharing this with algorithms and artificial intelligence. It's not a fight, it's working together.
In the chat, they're mentioning, don't you need a community for bias?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and that is, you know, when you, I mean, you have it, of course, we human beings also have it, but see how the world changes if you have to, you know, characterize a person in 28 Twitter signs, you know, it's not possible. We play many roles and we are many and not one. So, you know, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, you know, I'm a white privileged, so many things at the same time. You don't want that. You don't want to be stereotyped only as this and this, you know, nobody could live like that. And we don't want that for anybody, and not for our children.
I think you missed the part in your presentation where you're actually talking about the crowdfunding as well. Is that correct?
Well, I did that in the end, but perhaps you,
I might have missed it, sorry.
perhaps because we were like, yeah. So the whole Fake Me Hard project will run from beginning of July until 15th of August. And we have a very special project, which is the cluster, and that is what you saw the film, and which everybody should revisit, because it's actually a physical way of we call it entering the matrix. So we all know about the matrix, you know, and this is actually a way for people to physically be part of a space that's fully developed and accelerated by algorithms in sound and in music. And it really is such an amazing experience that even if you are not allowed with many people, it does feel like that you are with many at the same time. So in that sense, it's really, really nice. And of course, it's a whole play with the Matrix. I think that was in one of the texts that we were talking about, which is of course a bit of a dystopian aspect to it, you know, that there's no longer a choice between the red and the blue pill, you know, there's only the blue pill available. And so that kind of makes clear, of course, we can change that, and we are still there, but we need to be there. We need to be there and not kind of, you know, become lazy consumers that don't think about the backside of how easy it all becomes with our smartphones, etc.
I mean, I guess it takes everyone to be completely aware of the fact that these things are happening and that it's already there, and not that it's like a futuristic thing. I mean, I think most people here also saw the video of the Queen, which I thought was, I mean, you can very well see that it's not real, but I mean, there's plenty of people who probably saw that and for the first 5 minutes were like, oh, well, this is a funny little presentation. So I think like that awareness is so necessary to already,
very important.
Should already be there.
Yeah, and it's also because, for instance, we will have a symposium with different speakers there as well, and there's also many ways we need to think of how to counter this. I mean, is it a good way, for instance, to help young people learning how to fake, you know, so how to fake better, you know, is that the answer? Or is it giving us tools to be able to really research and investigate situations, you know, where we find ourselves in, or you know, when we when we are confronted with news or with deepfakes, etc.
We have some questions. Would it be a good idea to specify certain
that's
people stop typing, certain areas where AI should not be used? Do you mean in life in general, Hans, or you mean
where is it?
As in regulations by the government, or?
I mean, in the sort of situations like in communication, that you should never be limited to AI. Like when you have to when you communicate with a robot, you can never change the feedback or so. I mean, it can never change. It only works within the limits for which it has been designed.
Yeah.
So there you should have humans to deal with those kind of situations.
Well, I think it's a very good question, and actually it really comes close to what we're trying to say as well, because when we're talking about human feedback, it's also investing in human beings being these kinds of you could almost call it mediators, yes, like facilitators, but also human beings as mediators. And you do see now already in, for instance, in the world of the caring and hospitals and institutions for caring, you see a lot. There have been a lot of investment in getting robots there, etc. But when there are no people to make the connections between the people that need to receive the care and the robots that might, like not do all of the care, but do certain. If there's no mediation, if there's no link made, nothing happens. All these robots like vanish and go to the attic or something. I don't know, So, and I think this is happening on every level. And what you now see is that's a bit what I'm telling, So now you see these investments in robots and algorithms and AI only from one side. It's only because financially it might be interesting, but if we don't make the bridge, it's not going to be for the best. So yes, actually, to answer you, I think on every level we should really want to collaborate. And of course, so in that sense, Fake Me Hard is really a follow-up of robot love. It does not mean that we should hate or that we should distance ourselves from all these new and disruptive technologies. It's not possible, but even if we would want to, no, we should come closer together. That's actually also what Fake Me Hard is saying.
Hans, I hope that answers your
Thank
question.
you. Yes, that's the idea.
We have some a couple of comments in the chat.
Yeah, nice one, I see.
Ernst, you've got some very existential questions there.
Yeah,
yes,
very nice.
Of course. So I think we are just in a transitional period, right? There are media where we have already accepted that it's easy to fake. Everybody knows you can print whatever you want. And there are even forms of art where we admire faking, like actors on stage, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So frankly, I don't see the problem. I think it's now just an interesting time because it's new. And that's for us an opportunity to explore. But once we get out of this, and I appreciate that might be difficulty, it will be not so much of a problem, I think.
Yeah, no, but I like this a lot. Oh, sorry.
So just to put it in between for the people that aren't seeing the chat, he had two questions. One is, isn't the easy solution to simply not believe in anything anymore? And the other one, does it really matter whether it's fake or real if we abandon the convention that it's real? Sorry, Ine, please continue.
Yeah, well, these are deep questions, and so let's go ahead. Well, first, there is a problem for your first question. There is a really problem if we don't have anything shared anymore, if there's no shared basis in how to navigate the world in which we live. That is a problem, and that problem is basically political, because we're talking about that, of course. Also, it becomes easier for political leaders to just tell us everything, you know, to fake everything and lie, it's cheat, you know, and that onto a level that is really dangerous for us. Yeah. So in that sense, I'm now referring also to Hannah Arendt and to so many other thinkers on this level. In that sense, we need to find ways of being able to share values and share ways of perceiving the world. I'm not saying fake or real. And now we come to your second question, because no, of course, there is no real difference. I've never used the word real, actually, because it's not that simple. And actually, even faking or lying, for instance, we will do a symposium about lying, because lying is like, you know, without lying, we would not exist as human beings. You know, it's just like, who do you lie for, and in which context do you lie? And many people do have those, how to say that, those skills to be able to sense a bit like what is happening here. And that, of course, we might lose. That's, of course, a different story. And then again, about fake or real, you're so right in that, and also in the art and the theater. And actually, at this moment, there also are artists doing really great jobs in human rights perspective and so many others of using fake material to actually make things happen that are for the good. Yeah. So fake it till you make it is, of course, also one of them. You know, it can also really help change the world for the good. So yes, it's much more complicated than that. But the thing is, for now, we need to develop those skills to be able to move along with these really rapidly technological developments.
Yeah, I like that you just brought up that faking a little bit maybe makes the AI more human.
Well, that's for sure.
So if it wouldn't fake at all, it wouldn't be human, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure. And this is really interesting also, because we didn't talk about this now, but remember that for Robot Love, there was a really big issue. We forget many times that we also are cultural beings, and our cultural background and our environment really is important here. So when you say like making the AI fake a bit more, become more human, well, that's really for a Western male guy as you, really something to say that, you know, if you come, for instance, from China or Japan, it's much more easy to do that. And here in the West, we still have this uncanny valley idea. So it's not how to say that, a very easy step to make for us here in the West, I think, to do that. Also, you know, like fake the AI to become more human.
Yeah.
To add to that, I think Kevin mentioned a really nice addition to that in the chat, like a positive element, for example, for deep fakes, which is actually showing a little bit of the human in the AI, would be to storing the voice of a lost one and relive a time again, chatting with your father or mother one day after they passed away.
So yeah, that's another example. So in mourning, for instance, and helping people to mourn or to, you know, accept the loss of a partner or a parent, it is really working. But also if you have you know, like strange fears, for instance, for height or for, I don't know, you know, it really helps to fake it. Yeah. But that's, of course, also not something from now. Like lying is not something from now. And that's why I said earlier in my presentation also, like with every technological disruption, like the book prints, yeah, it seemed to be like a time of myths and conspiracies, etc. That's also not now. It's Yuval Harari who talks a lot about that. And it's a really, really nice relativation of the times we are living in now. But what he also says, and I think is really, really crucial, is that, yeah, we do need a different kind of antivirus, he says, you know, something around us or something that we can use to immediately, you know, kind of sense when we are being attacked by too much fake, to call it like that, you know. So that's a problem. Actually, that also refers back to another show I did, Hacking Habitat, where we were already talking about the fact that the eye is overrated. So we are so confident on what we see, and we are so relying on the information that comes through via our eyes. We forget all the other senses that might play a much more a bigger role in the times to come, in order to, you know, like sense where we stand and how we can connect.
That's interesting insofar because it's mostly about now the new ability to fake video, right? We are not talking about all the other senses, huh? And we humans have many senses. Huh?
Many, and as many know from experience, very important senses as well. But yeah, so this is really, yeah, and so that is, I think, what also can challenge us to rethink what we are as human beings.
In the chat, they're mentioning, will we then be going live into a kind of worldwide Truman Show?
Well, that's for sure. Yeah, it's already happening.
I hope not. Honestly, like, I find it interesting because, I mean, the whole idea of faking, especially, for example, with the one that he's mentioning about the morning, with listening to someone's voice, like, I find it really interesting because there people know that it's fake, you know, so they can still perceive it as real in some way, but they in the back of their head they know that it's fake. And I think that's like where the thing is, like, if the people, you can still get true information via these deep fakes, for example, but the fact that when people don't realize the fact that it's produced by someone else, I mean, what you're saying, like, it can, a little bit of faking can also do a lot of positive things, but it can also do a lot of negative things.
And that has, history has proven that also. It's not also something from now, but this is, I think, so interesting because yeah, it's philosophical, but it's also each time when we develop also as human beings in these different surroundings, we get to understand different aspects of ourselves as human beings, because, you know, once I made a comparison. It was about a robot that was used to communicate with other people. It was so like working as a telephone. It was called a telenoid, and it had a very soft skin, and it moved its you know, so you could really recognize in the movement of the skin and the eyes, etc., the person that, you know, behind it, the voice. And this was developed in Japan. The first they even thought that it would be interesting as a kind of, you know, cover for your iPhone or something, and later they made it bigger. And we were talking about then with a care situation, in a care center, and somebody was talking, yeah, but you cannot do that, for instance, you know, if this telenoid is then you know, like communicating between an old woman with dementia and a daughter in Australia, like the other side of the world, you know, that is a problem. They find it, you know, it's a problem because the older woman thinks that she really has her daughter there before her. But these things have been happening all the time, you know, with the telephone, with this and this, and so that's not new. But what I find more interesting even, and then that's really, again, our culture. Actually, I think nobody of us, and that's exactly what you're saying. So all of us have this kind of urge. Oh, there she is, like in front of me. My mother or my relative. It's only on second thought that you understand. Oh my God, no! What did we agree here in the West? You know, well, you know, we agree. This is what we agreed. You know, we cannot have these attachments to things other than human beings, to telephones or to cars or to robots. It's, of course, yeah. It's I think. Yeah, it's called anthropomorphism. It's really, really important. It's a way in which we see something human in everything around us, and whether it's robots or things, etc. And I think that is really major important also in our next steps to come closer to algorithms and AI.
Great. I have another question that was posed a little bit earlier by Kevin. GPT-3 showed us the power of the collective knowledge that can help everyone and grows every moment by the free speech, projects, websites, ideas, videos that are recorded on the public web. When we see fake news and deplatforming practice could perhaps mean a loss of knowledge, similar to book burn kind of lost data.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Kevin Albert. I'm absolutely a total believer in what human beings as a collective could to bring forth and could become. And I do see that, and of course that's of course with every development that we also lose things, and that's also why it's so important to really be and with critical, I mean positively critical with these developments, to stay close to it and see whether we because actually, so this prior before, like already in the 80s, if you see how we were like organizing ourselves, we have become robots long before we actually got the real robots. We lost so many other aspects that are part of our human existence. And I think that is, so yeah, we can use all these developments for the good as a mirror, and so also kind of care more for all those senses and aspects of our complex human existence.
Do you, oh wait. So Aaron is mentioning, so are we faking it when we intentionally try to be more human again now that we are robots?
Yeah. Well, I don't have to answer you, and I think there's a lot of faking going on in the world. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, actually, I am a fan of again the name. He just had a new documentary series. It was called I Can't Get You Out of My Head. It's by Adam Curtis. That's really, really interesting. It's all about power and how, how people in power, remain and keep their power, but also how we are addicted to power. And then you see, and it kind of, goes to different cultures and different countries, but it also shows how this is kind of reproduced in our technologies of today. Yeah, I mean, absolutely recommendation for everybody who's interested in these aspects.
How do you see the whole AI thing developing in the form of government control? Like, do you think there's going to be a lot of regulations? I mean, I know there's already regulations being made. We discussed a little bit up front. But how do you see that developing?
I couldn't understand fully. Government control, you said?
Yeah, so so the government having an influence on these things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's already happening, and I think much more than we actually realize. And we have become from surveillance states into surveillance societies, really. And I think I repeated that, it will change us, because we will become these young people, who have these very severe parents, and we know that, like, in every room and in every bedroom and even in the garden and even in the street around, we're all surveilled. It changes your behavior. You play a role, it changes you, and that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so yeah, and actually this of course is developing now also due to Corona rules, and in that sense, I'm really also very scared, and sometimes I was also very critical of the last year, and sometimes still am very much, because it's so easy to continue. I once was asked, how do you find a new normal? And I said, new normal, I object. I don't want a new normal. I'm actually object against the word normal completely. That's why I have this organization called Niet Normaal. Yeah, so yeah. Normal is overestimated. Yeah, well, that's for sure. Yes, yeah.
Well, I just want to check if there's more questions from people watching. I'm just going to give it a second. Someone raise their hand or unmute yourself if you do. I don't. Oh, yes. Yes. Maarten, please ask your question.
Can you hear me? Just wondering.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so I was thinking deepfakes are especially something that is going on when it comes to the information streams we have right now. But we also have a bit of an internal deepfake in the sense of that we don't always remember memories the way that it actually is in this set. And this could be due to, something small, like you mix up two different TV series, or sometimes you end up doing that a lot more due to trauma or something else. I was wondering, will there be a point where we start deepfaking our memories instead of just the media we are consuming right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely convinced that will happen. Because everything, what I would do, I'm sorry that I'm so direct, the link that I make is with pharmaceutics, so the way we, of course, take so many pharmaceutics also, and it's also, it's governing our lives, I'm thinking about, of course, the most known antidepressant, but there are so many more, actually also Adam Curtis talks about that, how many people in the United States, for instance, are addicted to these, and I think this is the same. So technology, that's also technology, the kind of, the hormones or the pharmaceutics that we develop in order to change our behavior or to feel better, and this, to remove or change our memories. Actually, I think it might start as just something fun to do, and then it might, become a very interesting measurement also to heal people. And well, you see how it's happened. I mean, we're changing our looks, we're faking our looks, for like centuries already. So yeah. I think it's in the same area.
Does that answer your question, Maarten?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Good, great. I think then we're gonna start rounding up. So unless there's any last questions, I don't think so, because I didn't see any other hands before. Just seeing if anyone wants to comment on that. No, I don't think so. Well, then I want to round everything up. So Ine, I want to thank you so much for your presentation and answering all of the questions. I think it's a super interesting discussion, and I hope that everyone is going to go and see the exhibition soon. So can you once again repeat the dates that we're going to be able to go and see the exhibition?
Yes, it's from July 1st until August 15. And if Corona is like the regulations are too severe to make that happen, we will move along with Art Rotterdam to February, March. So it's not a cancellation, it will be only postponed then. And then you can still follow us, of course, because there's lots of information already shared. via the Fake Me Hard website, and of course this crowdfunding, but that's of course the same. And also the cluster will then, yeah, of course you want to see cluster. Everybody wants to see cluster. Me too. Actually, I did in Enschede. It was already in Enschede, so I was already experiencing, and that's why I'm so happy to. And this is again, I mean, so in that sense, cluster is really a very good example because it's also fun. It's also, you know, makes us thrive, you know, makes us like go into another dimension, you know, like, you know, get to aspects of our life that we've never met before. And at the same, you know, so and at the same time, it makes you think. Yeah, and I think that's always really a great challenge to me.
So yeah, I will also now put in the link to the crowdfunding thing once again, the crowdfunding page once again, so people can join there and donate if they want to.
And keep following us because actually, so we did not yet start crowdfunding. We already have like 20% or something, but we did not yet start a campaign. It's starting beginning next week, and you will have such fun because it will be, you know, with Fake Me Hard socks, Fake Me Hard underwear, and you can imagine what will be done with that, you know, in terms of deep fakes. So really keep close and follow us. And
if we want to keep updated on the exact dates of the exhibition, we go to the website, faign.nl, right? Yeah, great. Then I want to thank everyone for watching, and Ine once again for the presentation and your answers. And I hope to see everyone again next week. So I do want to mention that next week we actually do not have a speaker, but we really would like to connect with you guys, and hopefully we can have a chat because normally with these events we don't really get the chance to really connect with one another. So we really hope that you will be joining us then for a nice meetup. Join us with a drink and with your homemade snacks, maybe. Hopefully soon we will be able to provide you this, provide the snack for you again in our location. But for now, we're still going to be online. And I just want to point out, because obviously it's currently very unsteady on what's going to happen, but you can keep updated on our website, ehvinnovationcafe.org, to see whether an event is live or online or what the exact situation is there. We will keep that updated. So feel free to keep that in mind when you're looking at our program. So for now, I want to wish everyone a good evening. And we hope to see you again. Oh,
no, I see. I didn't share it to everybody. It's to you privately. My God, everyone. So now I do it well. That's what went wrong. Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
There you go.
I will include that in the actual video afterwards.
Yeah, as well. So thank you so much, all of you, and for these really nice questions and helping me think. Make another step also. So really thank you.
Great. Have a good evening, everyone.